49ers update here from Levi's Stadium, where Javon Hargrave was back at practice today for the 49ers. Arik Armstead was not, but one out of the two 49ers starting defensive tackles who has missed some time looks to be on track to return against the Ravens, which is obviously big because Baltimore's game plan, I think, is obvious. They're the number one rush defense in the league, and I think they're just going to try to bleed the air out of this game by running the ball against the 49ers interior that gave up 238 yards and 7.8 per carry without its starting defensive tackles at Arizona. You've got Lamar Jackson, you got Gus Edwards, a 238-pound back who, he's built like a bowling ball, and the 49ers are coming off a game in which they missed the season-high 16 tackles. So Arik Armstead would be, I think, the biggest boost for the 49ers if he can return, but I don't see that as being something that is particularly likely for Monday night because Arik hasn't been at practice. I didn't see him at all today, hasn't even been working off on the side during practice. Meanwhile, Javon Hargrave has been working off on the side, and today he rejoined the 49ers unit. I have a video of Javon Hargrave pounding the sled along with the rest of the 49ers defensive linemen. So that's a big potential return for the 49ers, who also might be missing Javon Jennings, their third wide receiver. Jennings is in the concussion protocol. I haven't even seen him out there in a blue non-contact jersey. So that means that he hasn't progressed far enough through the concussion protocol with just one practice left this week to even be out on that practice field. If it's no Javon Jennings, Chris Conley, the veteran, he's on the 53-man roster for the 49ers, and I think there is a chance that we might see a lot of Conley, who is a 4.35 guy. He's a veteran now, 30 years old, might not be quite as fast as before, although Kyle Shanahan says that he does have the same speed. But Kyle Shanahan had always loved Chris Conley's ability to block, and we know that Javon Jennings is a pancaker, right? I mean, he signs the hard hat every time that he delivers a pancake block. There are a lot of Javon Jennings signatures on it. I think Chris Conley may not be as physical as Javon Jennings, but as far as doing what the 49ers need to from a blocking perspective, he might be able to fill in and deliver in that role. Plus, he's a lot faster than Javon Jennings, so maybe it does give the 49ers offense an added dimension. Talking about this game, I mean, the Ravens have two pronounced statistical advantages. Their run offense, number one in the NFL against the 49ers, number 18 run defense. And, you know, we'll see how San Francisco ameliorates that, if Javon Hargrave can help there, if Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner can play better than they did last week. I mean, all those things are going to be key. The other advantage for the Ravens, and I'll talk about this tomorrow in more details, their special teams unit. They've got Justin Tucker, who might be the greatest NFL kicker of all time. They have Tylan Wallace, who has a punt return for a touchdown in overtime to win a game this month on their team. Number 8 special teams for Baltimore, number 26 for the 49ers. But the one way in which San Francisco might be able to neutralize all of that, at least on paper, is through the fact that their offense is so damn explosive. I mean, we're talking about a historically good 49ers offense. So in a game pitting Brock Purdy against Lamar Jackson, all eyes obviously going to be on those two guys, but the Purdy side of things, working against this Baltimore defense that's one of the best in the league, that's going to be, I think, the headlining attraction here. And, you know, the 49ers talked about Baltimore's defense today. The Ravens, they lead the league with 50 sacks. And that starts with guys like Jadeveon Clowney coming off the edge, but it also involves what Baltimore is doing in the back seven. They've got good coverage. Kyle Hamilton's one of the most versatile DBs in football. He's 6'4". That's the same height as Fred Warner, who's a tall linebacker. Well, Kyle Hamilton's a tall safety, and he's able to line up anywhere around that formation. He's got 2 interceptions already this year. He also has 3 sacks, but not just that, and it's not just Jadeveon Clowney up front. It's maybe even primarily the linebackers in the middle of this defense. And today here at the facility, the 49ers seem especially focused on Baltimore's linebackers. Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen are their 2 main stack guys. And the 49ers said that the way that Roquan and Patrick Queen fly around the football reminds them a lot of Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. I think the 49ers unequivocally believe that Warner and Greenlaw are the 2 best in the game, but the Ravens, I think in the 49ers' eyes, are a close second. And that's what Brock Purdy talked about. That's what Kyle Shanahan talked about. That's what George Kittle talked about. I mean, this is a theme. The 49ers believe that this Ravens defense is good from the front all the way to the back. They believe that every single level of this Ravens defense can contribute and deliver in a way that might strain the 49ers offense more than any other defense this season. Now, Cleveland obviously did a really good job against San Francisco, but the 49ers obviously did not have a full arsenal of weapons in that football game. You had Deebo Samuel hurt on the first play of that game, Trent Williams hurt very early on, and Christian McCaffrey went down late in, I believe, the third quarter or maybe even early in the fourth quarter. But you didn't have him, and the 49ers really had to scratch and claw their way into making it work at the end before Jake Moody missed the potential game-winning field goal. Here against Baltimore, you're going to have presumably a full offensive arsenal. I know Jauan Jennings may not play, but I'm talking about the superstar skill possession weapons. And if you can keep those guys healthy, we will put my theory about the 49ers offense to the test. And that is, are the 49ers guardable when they have all these skill position weapons and Brock Purdy making good decisions distributing the football? Because my theory is that geometrically, it doesn't work to cover the 49ers if they have McCaffrey, if they have Deebo Samuel, if they have Brandon Ayuk, if they have George Kittle, all lined up in the formation, all working downfield with a decent play call from Kyle Shanahan. I think that the combined gravitational pull of all those superstars, if it's put together with a decent play call from Kyle Shanahan, puts the 49ers into position to win on every single play. I was just talking to Marcus Thompson, who works with me at the Athletic about this, and he agrees with me, because I mean the 49ers put up 45 points last week, and if you watch the tape, they're still leaving points on the board. They put up 40 plus against Philadelphia, even though they didn't do anything in the entire first quarter. That just goes to show you that when the 49ers are calling plays and executing at just a decent level, they've got the arsenal to be a team that is geometrically unguardable by opposing defenses. And I think that theory is going to be put to the biggest test of the year against Baltimore, because we're actually going to have a chance to see that theory answered against the Ravens, because it wasn't against the Browns when the 49ers had all those injuries. And that's what's really fascinating to me. One last thought today from the facility. George Kittle pointed out how good Baltimore is in the first quarter. They've given up the fewest first quarter points out of any NFL defense this season. And he said that it's because the Ravens shock teams by how physical they are. They'll punch you in the mouth, and it takes teams like 15 minutes to stabilize. So the 49ers need to be ready for that. But I think if there is a team in the NFL that would be ready for that, it's the most physical team in the league. It's the Ravens and the 49ers meeting, but the 49ers are the most physical team in the league. At least they've developed that reputation. I think that they have a really, really good shot to fare better than previous opponents have in that first quarter. But do take a look at how this game starts, because Baltimore has had so much success early on, and the 49ers are going to want to land that first punch. All right, that's the update from the facility, what the 49ers are talking about, who's hurt, who's not, who's back. That's Javon Hargrave, and the 49ers will wait on Jauan Jennings. We'll have an update on him and on everybody else tomorrow before the 49ers wrap up their practice week here at Levi Stadium.